Gojo Satoru. The strongest sorcerer and the lonely god of Jujutsu Kaisen, Gojo Satoru, stands as one of the most compelling and enigmatic figures in modern anime. A man whose power, charisma, and tragic solitude have redefined what it means to be a hero in dark fantasy storytelling. Introduced in Jujutsu Kaisen as the most powerful Jujutsu sorcerer alive, Gojo is not merely a teacher or protector. He is the very axis around which the world of curses and sorcery spins. His signature blindfold, white hair, and piercing blue eyes, bearing the celestial six eyes, have become visual symbols of both divinity and isolation, the embodiment of unmatched strength that comes at the cost of human connection. Gojo Satoru was born into the prestigious Gojo clan, one of the three great families in the Jujutsu world. From the moment he came into existence, the world trembled, quite literally. He was the first person in 400 years to be born with both the six eyes and the Limitless technique, a combination that instantly made him the most feared and revered being of his generation. His very birth shifted the balance of power between sorcerers and curses. Raised in an environment steeped in elitism and tradition, Gojo grew up surrounded by expectation and fear. His family revered him as a miracle, but that reverence came with suffocating isolation. Few could understand him, and fewer still could approach him without awe or terror. This environment planted the seeds of detachment and sarcasm that would later define his personality. Without a conventional family bond or childhood friendship, Gojo developed a worldview detached from the ordinary emotions that guide most people. His intellect and abilities isolated him even further, creating a paradoxical mix of arrogance and loneliness. That Gojo's formative trauma came during his teenage years, particularly during the Star Plasma Vessel mission, where he and his best friend, Geto Suguru, were assigned to protect Riko Amanai. Despite his overwhelming power, Gojo failed to prevent Riko's death, an event that shattered his naive perception of justice. Worse still, Geto's subsequent descent into darkness, turning from his best friend into a curse user, marked Gojo's emotional fracture. This betrayal not only deepened his loneliness, but also redefined his purpose: to create a world where tragedies like Geto's downfall would never repeat. The Jujutsu world is one of hierarchy, secrecy, and endless conflict, where curses born of human negativity feed on fear and death. In such a world, Gojo represents both a savior and a threat. His existence challenges the old order of elders and institutions. He becomes a revolutionary force, not only fighting curses but also rebelling against the corrupt traditions of his own society. At his core, Gojo Satoru is driven by the desire to reform the Jujutsu world, to end the cycle of loss, hypocrisy, and stagnation that breeds suffering. His goal is not mere strength for its own sake, but strength as a tool of liberation. He believes that only through nurturing the next generation, students like Yuji Itadori, Megumi Fushiguro, and Nobara Kudasaki, can true change occur. Yet beneath this noble purpose lies a quiet ache: Gojo's loneliness. He seeks connection and understanding, but his overwhelming power keeps him apart from others. His arrogance and playful confidence mask a deeper truth: that being the strongest also means being the most isolated. Throughout heaven and earth, I alone am the honored one. This line, both proud and tragic, encapsulates his paradox. A man worshipped as divine, yet starved of companionship. That Gojo's personality is a captivating mix of contradiction. On the surface, he's playful, cocky, and irreverent, mocking authority, teasing his students, and exuding boundless confidence. Yet beneath that mask lies a razor-sharp intellect, a man constantly calculating, constantly aware of the fragility of life and the burden of power. His intelligence is unmatched, his compassion hidden behind sarcasm, and his fearlessness undeniable. But his flaws are just as vivid: his detachment, his arrogance, and his reckless disregard for rules. His emotional depth lies in his loneliness masked by laughter and his hope disguised as mockery. His trauma taught him that strength without empathy leads to corruption, but empathy without strength leads to death. Thus, he strives for balance, even if it costs him his humanity. Gojo's abilities reflect his soul. His limitless technique allows him to manipulate space itself, creating the illusion of untouchability. The infinity barrier between him and the world symbolizes his emotional distance. No one can physically or emotionally reach him. He stands untouchable, both literally and metaphorically. His 6 eyes represent enlightenment, the ability to perceive the world with godlike clarity. Yet this clarity comes at a cost. He sees too much, understands too deeply, and thus feels the crushing weight of omniscience. His domain expansion, unlimited void, traps opponents in infinite knowledge, a place where perception itself becomes suffering. It represents his curse of understanding. While others drown in ignorance, he is burdened with infinite awareness. Gojo embodies divinity and isolation. His powers, beautiful yet overwhelming, mirror his psyche, brilliant, infinite, and lonely. Among his relationships, none is more defining than his bond with Geto Suguru. Once best friends, they became ideological opposites. Gojo representing reform from within and Geto revolution through destruction. Their bond is tragic, mutual understanding torn apart by moral divergence. His relationships with his students reveal his softer, more human side. He sees in Yuji the hope of a new era, in Megumi, the potential for a better future, and in Nobara, the fire that defies despair. Through them, he nurtures the next generation and rebels against the rigid hierarchy of Jujutsu society. In teaching, he finds purpose. In mentoring, he finds redemption for his past failures. Gojo's greatest battle, however, is not against curses but within himself. The burden of being the strongest isolates him. The losses of Riko and Geto haunt him. The politics of the Jujutsu world frustrate him. He knows he can save others, but not himself. His external battles are legendary, from demolishing cursed spirits to defying the elders who fear him. Yet his true downfall comes not from weakness, but from betrayal. His ceiling during the Shibuya incident is poetic tragedy. The world's strongest sorcerer, undone not by power, but by the very system he sought to change. It symbolizes how even gods can be caged by human fear. Even so, Gojo's legacy endures. His ideals live through his students. His teachings echo in the hearts of those he trained, and his dream of a better world lingers in the chaos he left behind. He represents the paradox of power, how greatness can both save and destroy. In Jujutsu Kaisen, Gojo forces everyone, including the audience, to ask, what does it mean to be strong? Is strength freedom, or is it a prison? His story is a meditation on the cost of power, the pain of enlightenment, and the loneliness of those who stand too far above the rest. To write or understand Gojo Satoru is to embrace contradiction. He is both divine and human, arrogant yet compassionate, playful yet broken. His laughter hides grief, his confidence masks sorrow, and his power carries a loneliness no one can share. I'm the strongest is not a boast. It is a confession, a lament. It is the cry of a man who wishes he didn't have to be. Gojo Satoru's story is not about strength, but about what strength costs. He is a man destined to stand above all, but cursed to walk alone. His laughter echoes across battlefields, his ideals inspire the next generation, and his existence reshapes the moral core of the Jujutsu Kaisen world. In the end, Gojo is the embodiment of a timeless truth. Even gods are lonely. And in his loneliness, we find his humanity.